I am 18 weeks and 3 days pregnant today, and because my symptoms for every single video have been basically the exact same thing, I have decided to make this video into a wives' tale, gender prediction / pregnancy update video, just to spice things up a little bit. So altogether, I did 17 different wives' tales and I tested them all out. I didn't film them. There were a couple common gender tests that I decided not to partake in, 2 of which being the red cabbage leaf and the baking soda test, because to each their own, but I didn't want to play with my own pee because, you know, it's just kind of gross and I don't care enough to go there. And then another one that I didn't do is the IntelliGender test because it's expensive. Disclaimer before we get started, I know that these are complete crock of crap basically, and that, you know, they're not based on science whatsoever. It's simply for fun. I am going to keep a tally of each gender. The boys are going to be over here and the girl ones are going to be over here. So let's get started. The first test I did was the Chinese gender calendar, and I'm not going to get into the details of how it works. I really just used like an online, you know, enter your birthday and, you know, the time of conception and let the computer do the work, but the final result was girl. Then I did the Mayan calendar chart. You take your age at conception and the year of conception, and if they're both evens or both odds, then it's supposed to be a girl, and if one is even and one is odd, then it's supposed to be a boy. So I was 23 when I conceived, and I conceived in 2016. That would give us a boy result. Ring on a string is really simple. You take your wedding ring, or in my case, engagement ring, and you tie it on a thread and you hold it over your belly, and if it's swinging back and forth, then it's a boy, and if it's doing circles, then it's a girl. And that was another boy result. Last born child's hairline, that would be technically Vita, because she was my second born even though they were twins. And if the hairline is straight, then it's supposed to be the same gender as the most recently born child, and if it's a V, then it's supposed to be the opposite gender. So our result for that was girl. If you have cold feet during your pregnancy, colder than before conception, then you're supposed to be having a boy, and my feet have been freezing, so that's another boy result. If you're carrying high in your pregnancy, then you're supposed to be expecting a girl, and if you're carrying lower, then you're supposed to be expecting a boy. And I've been carrying high and prominent, as you guys have seen this pregnancy, so that's another girl result. They say if your hands are drier than they've been in the past, that you're expecting a boy, and if they're the same as they've always been, then you're expecting a girl. And I haven't noticed any changes in my hands, so that is another girl result. This is a tried and true one. If you're craving salty and sour things, it's a boy, and if you're craving all sweet things, it's a girl. And I have not been able to get enough of cake and Oreos and apples and peaches and just grapes, anything sweet, so that is a girl. If you are more moody than you were in your previous pregnancies, then you're supposed to be expecting a girl because of the extra estrogen, apparently. And if you're the same amount of moody or less, then you're supposed to be expecting a boy. And I am far less emotional this pregnancy than I was with the twins, so I'm gonna count that as boy. If your skin is really clear and glowing, then you're supposed to be expecting a boy. And if you have dry skin and acne, then it's supposed to be a girl, because as the old wives' tale goes, your daughter steals your beauty while she's in utero. I actually didn't expect this with my twin girls, which just goes to show how unscientific these tales can really be, because with my twins I had really clear skin and I was glowing. Well, this time around I have acne and dry skin. My complexion's been horrible. You guys have heard me complain about it this whole pregnancy. But if we're going by the wives' tale, that means I'm expecting a girl. They say if you sleep on your left side, it's a boy, and if you sleep on your right side, it's a girl. And I always sleep on my left side, so I don't know if this counts, but I guess technically I'm expecting a boy. They say a lot of morning sickness, again because of extra estrogen, means girl, and less morning sickness or no morning sickness means boy. And I've hardly been ill at all this pregnancy. It tapered off at 8 or 9 weeks and basically never came back, so that is a boy. They say that headaches are associated with having a boy. I have had migraines for the first time in my life, so that is a boy result. If your husband, or in my case husband-to-be, gains sympathy weight, then it's supposed to be a girl. And I had to ask Hayden because I didn't want to speak for him, and I haven't noticed really any kind of significant difference. He thinks that he's put on a pound or two, so we're gonna count that as girl. This one is just based on mom and dad's intuition, so I guess this is equal points on both sides because Hayden thinks girl and I think boy. So I guess points all around for everybody. And the final one is if your leg and body hair seems to be growing faster and longer and thicker than before. Basically, if your child is making you Chewbacca, then you're supposed to be having a boy, I guess because boys are hairy or something like that. And if not, then a girl. And I haven't noticed any kind of difference, and I definitely don't have like belly hair or extra like arm hair or anything like that, so I'm gonna go ahead and count that as girl. So as you can see, if you count up the tallies, it turns out that it's a perfect tie. Well, I'll be. So in the end, it's gonna be Hayden versus me in that ultrasound, rooting for our team. Of course, we'll both be happy no matter what it ends up being. It's just kind of for fun and games. So I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and show you guys my 18-week belly. So this is with the shirt down. And this is with it up. So definitely, I would say I'm carrying pretty high. I don't know, let me know in the comments if you think I'm actually carrying lower, but this is definitely higher than I felt with the twins. One thing I did forget to mention is that I'm now feeling actual, real baby kick, and that's actually been making me really happy, as you can imagine. So I will see you guys for my 19-week update, and only 2 more weeks until we find out what baby cutie is going to be.